today on 15 on 15.
Prime Minister Mike Eamon discusses Aruba's economic climate with an expert. Plus, check out this ice hotel and its appeal. Also, the process in becoming a Coast Guard. All this and much more coming up on today's 15 on 15. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Yentl Lieuw. During Prime Minister Mike Eamon's business trip to the United States, he had the opportunity to sit down with an economist. The economist was the former advisor to President Bill Clinton. As well, he acted as an advisory for governments on economic policy. He is now a professor at Columbia University, studying as well teaching economic theories. Prime Minister Eamon took the chance to discuss Aruba's economic climate with him for his expertise. Delegates part of the meeting discussed with Professor Joseph Stiglitz regarding the current economic situation as well forecast of Aruba. An extensive exchange took place regarding the 2008 economic crisis.
One of the things we talked about is after the crisis in 2008, different countries responded in different ways. There was a division in the world between two economic philosophies. One was called austerity, and the other one was invest in your people, invest in your country. I strongly believed that the austerity policies were not going to work, and that the investment policies were the basis of sustainable growth.
The economic expert advises Prime Minister Eamon to continue investing in the people of Aruba despite negative economic climate. There's facts and statistics to prove that continuous investment in the people of a country works far better than austerity.
It's now 7 years after the crisis of 2008. Time moves on. And we've seen the results of those two different theories. Austerity has been an absolute disaster. Emblematic of that disaster is Greece, where 25% unemployment, 25% loss in GDP. Disaster. Youth unemployment well over 60%.
Aruba is an example of how an economy can bounce back once policymakers choose to continue investing in the country and in its people.
The contrast with countries that had growth strategies, like Aruba, investment in people, wound up with stronger economies, lower unemployment, and the debt was up. But there was something to show for the debt. There were investments in people, investments in the country. So if you looked at it from the point of view of a balance sheet, assets and liabilities, the country was actually richer, and it was doing better.
In other local news, it's still early in the week, so let's relive the weekend. The spotlight on Sunday was on the kids during the Orangestad Children's Parade. What you see here are carnival enthusiasts in the making. The children's parade can't compare to the adult ones in terms of number of participants, but nonetheless, their costumes are still as outstanding, and the little ones here are just as excited and passionate about the parade. The event on Sunday started at 2 in the afternoon and consisted of approximately 5 groups. These included Deja Kids, Little Groovers, Champagne, and a combination of Dinos Futuro with Jolly Kids. The children's parade is a startup to what's to come during the carnival season. Carnival lovers still have many parades to look forward to, but it is going by very fast, isn't it? Don't go anywhere, because when we return, we have a fantastic lifestyle segment ready for you. We'll check out a tourist destination that is pretty much the complete opposite of Aruba, yet it still has its own unique appeal that's just so attractive. Also, I'll tell you which hours of the day you are most alert and at your best to perform at work. And we'll show you a delicious game of dominoes. Bet you've never seen these types of dominoes before. I'll tell you the purpose for them next. You are watching 15 on 15. Welcome back from the break. Tourists choose Aruba as their vacation destination primarily due to our beautiful weather. But there are thousands who opt for ice. Check out this ice hotel that has the capability to attract thousands of visitors annually to be in the cold. The Ice Hotel is located in northern Sweden. Not only is it made of ice, it transforms itself every year with a new design theme. This year marks its 25th anniversary, where different designers came to help sculpt each room. The appeal is there. Each room is different. There's also an ice bar, church, and pillar hall. During March and April, ice is harvested from Torn River and then stored until November and December, when designers from around the world come to help to take part in the artistic construction that is Ice Hotel. The hotel lasts from December to mid-April, then slowly melts back into the Torn River. Pretty much a circle of life, or a circle of ice. That is pretty impressive and a complete 180 from the humidity that Aruba offers, yet it is still so appealing. Moving over to a different lifestyle topic, there are certain hours of the day where you perform the best at work. Both managers and employees should be aware of this. Humans have a well-defined internal clock that shapes our energy levels throughout the day. This is our circadian process, which is often referred to as a circadian rhythm because it tends to be very regular. Managers expect their employees to be at their best at all hours of the workday. Let's face it though, it is an unrealistic expectation. Employees may want to be their best at all hours, but their natural circadian rhythms will not always align with this desire. Here's the breakdown. On average, after the workday begins, employees take a few hours to reach their peak levels of alertness and energy. And that peak does not last long, not long after lunch. Those levels begin to decline, hitting a low at around 3 p.m. Now, we often blame this on lunch, but in reality, this is just a natural part of the circadian process. After the 3 p.m. dip, alertness tends to increase again until hitting a second peak at approximately 6 p.m. Managers who want to maximize their employees' performance should consider the circadian rhythm when setting assignments, deadlines, and expectations. And we can all agree that the game of dominoes is a huge part of Aruba's culture. So why not incorporate it into a daily routine? Dominoes can now help you determine what you are going to cook for dinner. Here's how. Dutch designer Leonie Anholtz came up with a food-themed dominoes game named Anatomy of a Recipe that transforms the tedious search of what to cook for dinner every night from a chore into a game. A literal game. It is a set of domino tiles that you see here, and each of them contain a food ingredient, and the game also comes with a cookbook. Each tile corresponds to a recipe in the book. The game is played much like traditional dominoes, but in this version, the last tile played determines which recipe in the book will be made for dinner. Bon appetit! Unfortunately, these dominoes aren't for sale, but we're pretty sure you could come up with your very own version. Make a popular game like dominoes to determine dinner, and you never have to stress about what to cook every night. Let's take a very quick break. This is what's coming up next for you. Coming up, the rules of the water. The work of police officers are continuously in the headlines. However, when it comes to the waters, Coast Guard calls the shots. 15 on 15's Dortron Salmon had an extensive interview with the head of the Coast Guard Division. Today, we learn about illegal fishing, Aruba's jurisdiction when it comes to the open water, as well as the process of becoming a Coast Guard. It can't be seen, but there is a fine line between where Aruba's fishermen can fish. This rule applies to all surrounding neighbors. This is an area where the island's coast guards take charge.
People that are coming in to clear in at Barcadera, there's no fine. It's a common business between South America and Aruba. But like foreign fishermen from Venezuela, there's a fine for them in coming into Aruban waters and fish, and that's where we are also doing our controls on illegal fishery in our territorial waters.
The fines varies depending on what kind of fishing foreigners are conducting in Aruba's waters to how much fish they have on board at the time of the Coast Guard's presence. The fine is determined by the district attorney. The area of responsibility of the Coast Guard goes far.
Jurisdiction area is the whole territorial water and also the exclusive fishery zone, which extends to 25 nautical miles west of Aruba and 200 miles north of Aruba. Those are our jurisdiction area. But our search and rescue area stretches far beyond that. We have, I cannot tell you how far west we go, but it's a very stretched out area. But our jurisdiction area for doing the controls on customs and police controls and police area, we have our territorial waters and the exclusive fishery zone.
There is a list of criteria an individual must possess to even be considered for the Coast Guard training. Randolph Pascal explains.
The age group is between 18 and 25 years. And the process of becoming a Coast Guard, you have to have a minimum certificate of a MAVO certificate. And that's where we pick up the candidates, do some testing, and after that there will be a training held either on Curaçao or Bonaire for a combined group of Aruba, Curaçao and St. Martin candidates, and which after 2 years in training, combined with the practical year, will become a Coast Guard member for a contract of 5 years.
That's all the time we have for now. 15 on 15 airs weeknights starting at 7:15 p.m. right here on Channel 15 ATV. So join us to catch the latest in lifestyle topics as well as the latest in local news. We'll see you next time.